Hi, Joanne. So he looks like a very mellow horse. If you look, though, I always look at the footing. It's very flat. There's no rocks or anything on it. There's no hills. So it would be good to see how this horse goes up and down hills, if we could see video of that, just to make sure. But very mellow, all by himself. So all that looks good. And on this one, he was eating the grass, and where is it? So on this one, he was eating grass, and then she kind of picked his head up and went. So it shows he's willing. It doesn't look like he's, stubborn or anything. He lifted his head up easily to go, and he looks very relaxed and very mellow out there by himself. But again, if you notice the footing, well-groomed trails, don't look very rough, doesn't look like a ton of rocks or boulders or anything to climb over. So we're always trying to make sure the horse can handle the new terrain it's going to. So here we see he has boots on all around. I don't have like a clear picture of all his legs, but I don't see anything obvious on the legs in these pictures. And all horses stand different depending what they're doing. Here he kind of looks like he's camped under himself a little bit. But otherwise, he's a very pretty horse. So this is the one he canters, and it's far away, so it's hard to see his leads, but he looks like he kind of took off like a bat out of hell. And he's going pretty fast. He looks a little strung out. His tail's up in the air. I mean, he stops nicely for him, but it just doesn't look like he has a slow, nice, calm, rocking horse canter. It looks more like, he's galloping up the side of the hill, which is fine if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a horse to canter slow, just from what they're showing us, he might not be able to do it. But that might be a beginner rider. They might not know what they're doing either. So that's all a possibility also. So this was with him gaiting, and he's just kind of all over the place. He's kind of foxtrotty there. Then he got a little bit of his rocky gait. Then he kind of got more a little step pacey. If you watch those back legs, he just looks a little bit strung out. And then see that little hoppy step there? That's sometimes a sign of a stifle issue. So I'll do it again. It could have been the way they're riding him. That's also a possibility because they're not helping him the best. So he looks like he's on the trotty side. Then he does go lateral. But if you watch those back legs as he starts coming up here, you'll see they look kind of long, and then it looks like he's having a little problem with this stifle right there. And he does come down in his fetlock a little bit more. I think it was the right hind, so we'll see as he comes up again. So, sorry, it gets blurry as I get close. So the left ankle doesn't look bad, but the right ankle, he does come down a little bit more in that fetlock if you watch that closely, and I'll try to slow it down. So it could be a stifle, or you might want to, I would just, if you could, possibly vet check that horse just to make sure it doesn't have an issue. So again, he's a very pretty horse. It's just some of the times when I saw the pictures of him standing, if this was a walking horse, I wouldn't worry about it much. And some walking horses are mixed with Rockies way back. And this horse does have a bigger stride. He stands a little bit more like a walking horse. And when I saw him moving, he was kind of twisting and turning his legs a little bit more like a walking horse does. Everything else on there looks pretty good. He looks very calm. It looks like this is a beginner that he's packing. And, he's doing a nice job. They're just walking or doing a little flat walk, and that looks okay from what I can see because the camera's kind of moving around. He does cross over a little bit in that front. The right front kind of comes over the left front a little bit as he's walking, but it's hard to see his hindquarters in this view. Then they switched and watched his hind leg. His left hind kind of crossed over. You'll see it in a second, the next view. So see that leg coming over? It's crossing way over, although we didn't get much view of it. It came way across on the center line. Again, a lot of walking horses do that, but the Rockies conformation and stuff is usually a little bit better, so they usually don't get that ringing of the hocks and all of that. Now, he looks very good with the water. He went right in. This guy doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing a lot. but just his back end, he kind of crosses over his hind legs a little bit there. That left's going over the center line. And so the back end is a little bit questionable. He might be fine, but he's kind of a little bit more loose and lanky like a walking horse is. And that sometimes gives you a little problem on the hill. So I don't think that, yeah, he doesn't really know what he's doing, which is okay. So there he's cantering. At least he's got the lead in the front and the back. But you'll see a little bit, you know, his tail's going up and down like he's starting to gait right, but it's also swishing some a little bit, like maybe something's bothering him a little bit in that back end. This was the only hill I saw and watched. He kind of, you know, it's not wet up there, but he's kind of sliding his back end to get down it. See him kind of slide? And sometimes they'll do that if they can't get their stifle working well enough. He went up the hill okay. It was just coming down that makes me a little bit more worrisome. Now here he's going a little bit more towards his rocky gait. But you'll see it doesn't look like it's a very smooth gait. If you watch the rider, you'll see her moving around a fair amount. You know, and some of that might be fixed with more gait training and a little bit more collection instead of riding him on such a loose rein. But he kind of goes a little bit more towards a foxtrot and a trot at some of the points. And he's looking off, but he's just looking off at the person videotaping him. So that's not a big deal. But if you watch kind of how that back end is moving, again, if I didn't see the horse's head or his papers, I'd be thinking this horse was mixed with a walking horse just because of the way he moves, and he does have a big stride. So if you're riding with slower horses or quarter horses, his step might, you know, move you along much faster than you think you're going. I was curious to see how he turned, but they cut it right on that turn. And I don't know if they did that just for viewing, or maybe something did happen a little bit with his stifle there. Again, I'm being picky because that's what people want me to do, but he does look like a very calm, sweet horse. But she's got a fair amount of motion in the saddle, so it's good to watch the horse move, but you always watch the rider too to see how much they're moving around, how jarring it is. There he went a little bit more towards a trot, so he kind of went out of gait, and that's okay, especially if they're not used to riding gaited horses. But as they're riding him here, he keeps going a little bit more towards a foxtrot and a trot, but they're really not riding him with any contact. So that's not helping the horse at all because he's kind of just doing what the terrain's telling him to do, and he doesn't know to stay in that gait. The rest of it looked good. He looked calm. You know, it looks like nice people taking care of him. Everything looks like it's on the up and up from what I can see. You'll see as he's standing here, he's kind of, you know, it almost looks like he's parked out. Now he's kind of camped out. In the other picture, he's camped in under himself a little bit here. So it's just that back end that looks a little bit funny.